everybody. I'd like to go ahead and call to order the Nevada Commission for the Reconstruction of the V&T Railway. It's Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. It's 9:01 a.m. and we are here at the Carson City Community Center Robert Bob Kroll Boardroom. With that, could I get a roll call, please?
Chair Peterson,
Present.
Vice Chair Mitchell, Treasurer Cruz,
Here.
Secretary Hicks,
Here.
Commissioner Schmitter. A quorum is present.
All right, thank you very much. With that, if I could get everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. With that, we'll move on to agenda item 4, public comment. The first opportunity. Public is invited at this time to comment on and discuss any topic that is relevant to or within the authority of this public body. Any public commenters? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 5 for possible action, approval of the minutes of the September 26, 2024 meeting. Tomorrow was kind enough to get those through to us. It is late material. It's marked as such. It's posted to the website, and it's at the back of the room, just for the record. And are there any comments, questions, concerns about anything in the minutes? Any edits that anybody wants? If not, anybody want to make a motion on these? Feel free to do so.
Move to approve the minutes of September 26, 2024.
Thank you for that motion, Stephanie. Do I have a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, motion carries unanimously. All right, let's move on to agenda item 6 for possible action, discussion and possible action regarding the V&T Commission's statement of accounts payable checks paid August 1st through the 31st, 2024, and September 1st through the 30th, 2024. So we have 2 months that we're approving at this month's meeting. The accounts check payable total $118,279.83 for the month of August and $72,521.85 for the month of September. I don't know, Leah or Sherry, anybody want to say anything about either month? Give you an opportunity, yeah.
Sherry, can you just go over the backed out of check portion on there that you have written on both? Oh. Yes, the yeah.
It is just part, comptroller's office and Corey balancing out to the bank statement.
And part of that
The
is
revenue and
for the 500, I think, per day from Tom back to us, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
For the use of the 18, the locomotive,
Correct.
I think. And I don't know that that always is going to balance on a monthly basis either, because it depends on when the revenue gets reconciled relative to the invoices that we're actually paying for that particular month for checks payable too. So
Right.
it's just one of those weird anomalies on the timing of things. Are you comfortable with that, Leah?
Yes. Can I move?
Oh, yeah, you can do whatever you want, Leah.
Any
I
other
don't tell you what
questions?
to do. Are there any questions? Stephanie, do you have any questions? Okay, yeah, if you want to make a
All right.
motion, Leah, go for
I
it.
move to approve the payable checks totaling $72,521.85 for September and $118,279.83 paid in for August, as recommended.
Thank you for that motion, Leah. Do I have a second?
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this particular item? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion carries unanimously. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 7 for possible action. Discussion and possible action regarding the adjusted V&T Commission's fiscal year 24-25 budget reports for the period ended August 31st, 2024 and September 30th, 2024. So again, we have both months that we're looking at. So the comparative statements of adjusted revenue total $106,336.52, and the expenses total $151,917.09 for August. And then the September numbers, revenue is $934,538.05, with expenses totaling $224,438.94. So the last two numbers are September, first two numbers for August. Are there any questions or concerns about either one of the budget reports for August or September? The only thing I was going to mention is it's unique this year that we have the PEX revenue in here. So that's why, obviously, there's a huge chunk of money showing up. So thank you, Sherry and Jennifer, for getting that revenue reconciled against the bank statement so we could actually see the money in the September report. So I think this is great. I feel like we're off to a really good start. And we're going to move the money. Right.
Moving them.
Yes. So I had a note, but it was on a different piece of paper. So it's under cap ticket sales, but obviously we have to decouple Polar Express. So where you see the 824, but then the total 922, they're going to go back and reconcile that and move the PEX to the line below, because obviously some of that is the long line ticket sales that were still going on. But this was, we're just trying to get the money in and through. So they'll just do I'm assuming some JV entries or something like
Correct.
that. And,
Correct.
move that money around. So I think maybe for next month, we'll see the correct totals for each of the RGLs, hopefully. And you don't know how much of,
Yes.
do you know? Oh,
Actually,
can you
for
share
Polar,
that? Yeah. Yeah.
For Polar, this ticket sales for September were $788,188.
Oh, okay. Yeah, did you have a comment? No. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yay, money.
Yeah. Leah loves money. That's for sure.
That was my comment.
Yeah. When Stephanie was the treasurer, she did too. Now, more policy for staff, yeah, that she cares about, so. Excellent, okay. Any other, was there anything else I was supposed to mention? I think that was just,
No,
that was
that
it.
was all.
Yeah, okay. Commissioner Schmitter is here, so if we'll just let the record reflect 9:09 a.m. Michelle is here. And Stephanie, go ahead, please.
As former temporary treasurer, maybe I should know this, but I'm going to ask anyway at the risk of sounding stupid. So when I first looked at August, obviously I was concerned because we had a negative, right? And then September, yay, was good, lots of money coming in. But what happens in a month like that when we are showing a negative? I mean, is that where we're pulling from reserves? How are we handling that?
That is such a good question from the former treasurer to the current treasurer. Leah.
We
Tell
wait
us.
until the next month and then we say, yay, money.
So, okay, so I think my understanding is we have money in the bank, but it's our bank account, but it's separate from the county. So this is what's in Tyler Muni.
Yeah, this
but,
is the
but
Story County.
yeah, so it's not like
reconciliation
we
with-
don't
yeah.
have the money,
Right.
but it's the accounting of it in the accounting system. But we don't we weren't in the
Yeah.
negative because I think we ended with like 800,000 or 900,000
Okay.
is probably what the audit will show. But I don't know how that all works.
Well, and
honestly.
I mean, I know that we had money in reserves and that's great, or in the bank, whatever we want to call it, but like we never see that balance show up anywhere. And when we're dipping in it
Right.
in instances like this, it would kind of be nice to see that running total somewhere.
That's a good idea.
The bank balance, you mean, or is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, like what we actually have in the
Okay.
bank. I
We'll
wonder.
talk to-
Is there a report in Tyler that I thought we can get like on a monthly basis, or it could be added to this, but it's like our cash on hand, I guess. Literally like our checking account balance, but
Okay,
yeah, would you
I
mind
can ask-
asking Jennifer about that? I
Right.
feel like I had that conversation with her before, just so, it's a good question, because you're right, it looks weird that we're in the negative, but obviously we spent into our checking account.
What I think would be helpful would be to see the cash on hand and almost like a graph kind of way, like over the month, over, like a
Okay.
visual representation of it instead of just numbers. Does that make sense? Like, numbers too, obviously, but just something to see when and how level it is or how it dips or whatever, because it won't. And you
Are,
get,
just to clarify, are you asking, like, do you want to see that over the course of the month or
no, like,
no? Over the course of the fiscal year?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I think that's not a bad idea at
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
and I can help
Yeah.
with that. So
Oh, okay.
that's fine. I have Tyler access
Right.
for all that kind of stuff. So
Okay, that's good.
and what you're looking at with the revenue and the expenses is that for the period, our revenue was less than what we spent. It's not
Yeah.
what we have in the bank.
Yeah. I wonder if that would be on like the balance sheet or something like a TB, a trial balance or something in Tyler Muni where it shows our cash on hand. I don't know. I don't have to. That never comes up for me for Visit Carson City, right? So because the dollars are there because we're tied in with the city. So I think it's unique that we have our own bank account. I think that's the issue here.
we can
Probably.
we
Okay.
can talk and look
Okay.
at stuff and see.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the greatest
Okay.
graphical depiction at next month's meeting.
I mean,
so-
I think
Yes,
a balance
Michelle,
sheet,
would help.
usually you have a P&L and a balance
Mhm.
sheet, so.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, yeah, well, let's bring something forward maybe for us to take a look at then at the November meeting and see if we like that kind of reporting. We just have that accompany our budget or whichever one of these two items, it makes sense. Thanks, yeah, good suggestion, thank you. Are there any other questions on item 7? And sorry, Michelle, I know you're just kind of coming in, but you got the gist of the concern about the August report. It was just showing a negative balance, so. Now we're flush with cash, Leah said. She wants to spend, spend,
Yay,
spend.
money.
Yay, money. There's a new slogan
Don't
for the,
misquote
for the
me.
V&T. Okay, anybody want to make a motion then on the two budget reports?
I would love to. I move to approve the budget reports as presented.
Thank you for that motion, Leah. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion carries unanimously. All right. With that, we're going to move on to agenda item 8 for discussion only, a discussion and presentation by KPS3 of the V&T Commission's new website redesign. So if you recall, this is exciting, not as much as having maybe all the money in the world in the bank, but second only to money, but.
Hold on,
KP
hold on. Yay, website.
Oh, and for Andy, we have the money to pay you guys. So it's not pro bono work. So this is really exciting today. So just reminder, KPS3 was a contract by the commission to design, develop, launch, and manage and maintain a new website for the commission. This was done through one of the statewide contracts that we were fortunate to be able to tap into with Mahala's guidance. And Mr. Andy Walden, I'll let you introduce yourself, Andy, but is here to present the progress that KPS3 has made on the plans for the new website. And yes, I'm super pumped. If you recall, Leah and I were tasked with representing this wonderful commission as a part of this project as the group of two. So take it away, Andy.
Well, I'm Andy Walden. I am a partner as well as the VP of Marketing at KPS3. And today we get to be able to deliver our first deliverable within this entire project. And so that's really being able to show the insights that we've been able to gain for the overall strategy that we've been able to build as we start to move forward. And so you do have this document, and so I'm going to skip a few slides because Dave only gave me 10 to 15 minutes to be able to go through everything. And so I know,
I'm real sorry about
I know.
that. Wow, we should have chosen a different vendor, shouldn't we? Yeah. Wow.
We had
And-
movies, we
and-
had jokes, we had to cut a lot of things, so we're just going to go right into the meat.
You take the time you need, Andy.
Be a special showing of that after the
Yeah,
meeting.
after the fact. But we do want to go through quite a few things. We do want to go through our charge. We're going to go through the insights that we've been able to uncover with you, the goals and objectives in our audiences, and then we'll go through the strategic recommendations. But I am going to skip roles and responsibilities and timeline. I will spare you of those. And so the reason for this document is that we've been able to do both secondary and primary research, and we have those insights that are really going to be able to help set the direction creatively and strategically for the website. And so today is really being able to uncover those insights to make sure that we're all in alignment, because this is the foundation of our work. And so if we have that research wrong, if we have that alignment wrong, then this is the part to be able to raise your hand and saying, that doesn't feel right, because that's really going to be able to be the gauge to where we're going in the future. And so that's really the goal for today, is to be able to show you at least what we've been able to uncover and to make sure that we're aligned on the overall strategy. So our charge, really, we know what the V&T Railway offers. It's really that ability to have that experience, to see the historic charm of the region, to be able to see the natural desert beauty, and that's really those unique experiences that the V&T offers. And so our job is really being able to make sure that we can build that inspiration, be able to highlight that experience for people to see and experience on the website, to then get them to eventually book their ticket. And so with that, as I'm going through this, and these were the key events, and these shouldn't be any surprising. These is really what, at least from the regional side, that we're able to offer. We have the long line, and in fact, in comparison, 2 weeks ago, because we had fall break, I was able to go down to doing research on behalf of, obviously, the V&T, go to Williams and being able to check out their train, and I took the family out there and did their long line, which is a 2-hour train ride up to the Grand Canyon, and then being able to explore and hike and then come down for that 2-hour excursion as well. And so they had some really interesting experiences with a shootout, and we got robbed, all play, to be able to kind of experience what the Old West was really all about. And so this has felt very similar to the long line that V&T offers, to where you get to go through Carson City, you get to go and explore then Virginia City for a couple hours and then come back on the railway. But we know that, obviously time is of an essence, especially for travelers. And so that's where the short line comes in. And that's a nice quick trip. It's not really associated with the railway, but it is an offering, at least for those travelers and visitors that are coming up here. We also have the Polar Express, and my family has also done that as well. And it's a great experience. It's really being able to offer and being able to experience a great holiday movie, first person within the V&T. And then there's other offerings from private charters and events, and then the Toast of the Canyon as well. So there's a lot of variety that we're being able to provide to our local community as well as visitors as well. But from their perspective, they don't understand that there's a lot of different entities that are making this come to life. So there's us, there's the VTRR, there's the Nevada State Railroad Museum. And so all these collectively are creating confusion on where to go for what. And so that's one of the things that really came up in some of those insights, is saying people want to be able to understand really what the offerings and how to be able to experience the history, but they get confused because there's so many different organizations that are managing the railway experience. So as we go through the key takeaways, we want to be able to help streamline and making sure that people have the ability to book their ticket as easily as possible. Really, this is the sale. People come to the website, they're ready to book, and we want to make that as easy as a process as possible. There's confusion, as we just mentioned, about the long and short line, and if people are really booking the long line and they really want the short line, then that can create some frustration, or vice versa. So we, at the end of the day, want to increase ridership and boost sales, so we have more money, yay, to be able to talk about. And the other interesting idea that I thought was a great idea was to really create a film section for the website. So there's not only the historical perspective, but there's also the connection to cinema. I think there recently was the Killers of the Flower Moon that we had the V&T that was being able to be highlighted. And so what other offerings are there as well? And so being able to have that connection, and in fact, in a related organization, we work with the Wedding Capital of the World, and they have a section that's specifically for celebrity weddings in Las Vegas. That's one of the most trafficked pages on the site, and it's not really being able to show the experience that you get when you book your wedding in Las Vegas. It's really showing what other people were able to have that, whether that be Michael Jordan or some of these other celebrities that are really interesting. So I urge you to go check that out, because that could be the vision of where we take the connection to cinema. So we'll go through some of the insights as we go through the goals. So I'm going to go to those pieces because I think they are the most connected. So our real overall goal is to build a user-friendly website that drives ticket sales and honors the history of the V&T Railway. And that's really why we're here today, to be able to make that experience come to life. But the other goals, and the goals that we were able to take away, is we obviously want to increase awareness of the V&T Railway. But that's not only going to be what happens with the website. The website is really our front entry door to be able to get people to experience that. But that's also the connections that we're currently making with other destinations, with other associations, to be able to help promote the organization. We want to be able to drive ticket sales. That's our number one key piece, to be able to help get people to book their tickets, whether that be theme rides or whether that be the overall long line. We want them to be able to make that an easy process. We want to educate the public about the V&T Railway history. And so that there's a lot of connections to our target audiences, which we're going to go in the next few slides. That really will make that connection a lot more apparent. We want to create a dynamic, engaging website that keeps people exploring the site. We want to be able to build that, and whether that's more content, more storytelling, that's definitely, we're giving the framework for that ability for you being able to manage the website. So that goes along with improving the overall user experience. Yes, we want to make this mobile friendly, and that's a really key piece of that. But at the end of the day, we're really being there to be able to inspire and get people to book their excursion. So make it easy, scale, maintain, and manage. That's currently not happening with the current website. We want to make sure that when people are updating the website, they feel that it's easy. We want to make sure that they also feel safe, and that once they make an update, that it's not going to fall over. And so that's a lot of the things and pieces that we're going to put in play there as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the audiences. And this is really understanding how people are going to the website. And so that generally, a lot of the brand is experienced through Google. And so people may go through search to be able to find that, especially as they're trying to plan their trip to the region. Regional tourism websites. So that's another key piece, because itineraries are a huge part of that. So luckily, you do have Dave here, which I think is an executive director on the board of all the DMOs in the county. And so he has those connections to be able to make that happen. But for people to go in and see an itinerary, especially for the historic buffs, and say that this should be part of that, is a huge piece. Whether you're coming from Reno, whether you're coming from Carson Valley, it's a part that I think we should all be publicizing on our sites. The V&T Railway website, that needs no introduction. And then social media is also a key contributor to being able to build awareness of that, especially on those people that are experiencing the V&T. We should really get them to take pictures, really being able to get that to be able to share on their social profiles. So make that easy and remind people, and also tag us if you can, because that's really how people can find out this great experience that they're missing from friends and family. So from there, they go to look at excursions. They then go search for the attractions and events. They look at itineraries, and then they finally book their excursion. So as we go through this, I'm going to go one by one on the audiences that we were able to at least define. And so as we know, especially in families, the matriarch makes the decision. And so moms and grandmas are going to be the ones that really want to be able to have that unique experience. And especially the connection with history is really important, or being able to have a connection to the Polar Express is a really fun piece. And the goal is to unlock those key memories so they can experience those together. And so that is a key audience for us. The other one is is going to look at the historic perspective, right? These are the people that love the railway experience, and we have an offering that no one else has, and that's our connection to the Comstock and our historic angle. And so these people want to know about the steam engine, they want to know about the diesel engine, they want to talk to engineers, they want to get as much insights about our railway as they possibly can, and they're here to not only explore us, but they will continue across the country and explore as many railways as they essentially can. But they're there to be able to have understanding and learning and to experience the history firsthand. Then we have tourists. So this was what I did when I was going down to the Grand Canyon. Sure, we could have driven an hour to get to the visitor center, but we decided to take the 2-hour trip on a train ride. And then the reason being is that I knew that that was going to be a much more memorable experience for my kids when we were going to visit the Grand Canyon. And so why not do it? And so that's the same thing here, is that this is going to be a key, unique experience for visitors. So let's make sure we have those connections to local DMOs to be able to promote this experience that we have this, because it's a wonderful offering. Event planners. So now we're going into some of more of the subgroups, but I do feel like there's a huge opportunity. Event planners being one of them, right? These are the people that are booking for whether it be for their corporate retreats. These are the people that are doing, weddings and things of that nature. These are the people that are trying to fill the train for that unique experience. And so, yes, they know that they can book a custom trip right now, but really let's visualize how that can potentially look for them and what other offerings are there that we can make this come to life. And so that is, I think, a really core market that we can really be able to track to help grow really our sales. And then finally, educators. So there is a lot of connection with educators. It's so much better to be able to experience history versus then reading it in books. And so being able to talk to the school district to get them out there. We do have that connection to the museum, and the museums across the state will allow transportation from the schools for free to be able to go and visit the museum. So is there a possibility that we can also make that as part of the railway? I don't know, but that could be a possibility that we look into to be able to help connect the schools individually to get them out to experience the railway. All right, so now we're going to go through the strategic recommendations that we had. And so I enjoy the travel funnel, and so we go through this piece, and a lot of this is also established through Google, is that you have your dream where you're just really aspiring of where you want to go. You have your plan where you're narrowing in on what you'd like to do, and then you finally book and everything's official. And so as we are looking at this, we want to be able to show that this can help inform content in the future. So what kind of information that are we presenting, from visuals to storytelling, that really get people to dream about what's available within our region? And so is there content that we need to be able to put on the site to be able to make that connection for people that are looking for things to do within the region on their visit? Or for those weekend getaways for families that are just saying, you know what, want to have a little bit of a different weekend, it's beautiful fall colors out, let's go experience the canyon. Then we go into planning. And so, are these itineraries? What can you do, not only from going in and just saying you're going to spend a few hours on the railway, but as you get to Virginia City, what other things are there to do? So building those itineraries could be an important piece of that, and then highlighting that on social media and being able to get people to show exactly what the offerings are. That also could be in the future, if there are more themed excursions that you can provide. We want to make sure that there's different ways to be able to plan that, and putting that as part of the schedule and making that schedule availability, whether it be seasonality, is really important, because not all themes or not all excursions are going to be running at the same time. So let's make sure people are aware that they're booking their trips in the right time frame so they can experience or get the experiences that they want. And then finally, booking, that's the most important part, but our hard work is already done if they're ready to book, right? Just make it easy, make it seamless, and make sure that there's no confusion when they're ready to book their final trip. So when we're looking at this, there are some unique angles that we like to play on. So historic has been the one. No one can take our history, so let's be able to promote that and even provide more information on the connection with the Comstock load. I went to Wikipedia and was able to find some other nuggets of information, but in addition to the history, there was also that element to cinema, which I think is a great way to be able to show those movies where some of our cars have been featured. There's the unique excursions, and so whether that continues to grow, but as we mentioned, bad month, then Polar Express comes in, good month. And so there's a good connection to those. And so what other offerings that really help separate us that we think that we can be able to help manage and be able to promote, that would be really cool for our region with that connection. And then family friendly, what does that really mean? I mean, that is just making sure that it's good for kids, it's good for families, mom and dad have a great time, the kids have a great time. So how do we make that connection come to life? And how do we know that it's going to be a great experience for everyone that's involved? And so making sure that we have the content there that shows that this is a really safe ride and it's a lot of fun and there's a lot of families doing it. So lead with the why. So this comes from Simon Sinek's ability to show that why do we exist as an organization? What is the real value that we provide? And a lot of marketing organizations start with what we offer and then go into the why. But with us, we like to be able to show, well, what is our purpose as an organization? And really, the why for us is the V&T Railway exists to preserve and share the history of Nevada's railroading and mining while giving riders the opportunity to create lasting memories. And really the focus on that last piece is really creating those lasting memories. When I went to Northern Nevada, it was a lot of fun, but I really remember this. We want to be part of that that's the really important element. How? So obviously it's our railway system, right? For over 150 years, the V&T Railway has carried passengers safely over the winding rivers through robust mountains from Virginia City to Carson City. And then what do we offer? How do we experience this? Is the V&T Railroad is one of the most famous short lines in American history. It operates as a heritage railway, offering tourist experiences on a reconstructed portion of the original route. So that's how we deliver, but really it's the importance of we're creating a unique experience that you can only experience with the V&T Railway. The fourth recommendation is that, and there is transparency current on the website, but being able to help build that clarity in a way to be able to show that, yes, there are a few organizations. Here's the different variety of organizations. This is what you need to book. This is the trip that you essentially need. And so there's not as much confusion on when people are booking. We want to be able to make that as clear as we can to make sure it's easy for people to book and they're not in the wrong place. And so making sure that we have the right content out there is going to be important so people know exactly where to book. And even the simple parts of saying, oh, you're here for the short line, great, here's the ticket piece, versus just dumping them off the website. So making sure that that connection is a little bit more clear, it will be important. The historic side is, again, I keep on reemphasizing, this is really our angle, right? We do have so much of a wonderful story to share. This is the part of why the region is here, right? This is why we're here today, is because of the Comstock, and many people came over that to be able to get rich. And so, well, the money, it's still working today. And so really being able to lean into that history, because there are some unique stories to be able to be told, and maybe we lean into that a little bit more. Maybe there are some fun personalities that we can help put on the website. There are a lot of families that have been involved, and so maybe that's part of the story that we're able to provide. And again, I like that connection with cinema. That's still part of our more of our modern history. So even being able to show the different segments of history from the the 1900s and before then to what's currently going on now, I think would be kind of really interesting. And be the bridge. It's always a great part of the strategy if you are the connector, you are the hub, you're leading the discussion. And so that's what our goal is for the website. We want to promote everyone. Really, people are here to be able to enjoy our history of the railroad, to be able to see all the connections and how important this was, whether it was where it is now to where it used to extend from Reno to Minden. And so having all those connections available, we want to be able to be that highlight so people go to us first, and then being able to learn more about the railway and the options to be able to explore that, whether then it goes in being able to give referrals to our friends at the railroad or referrals to the museum. But let's have them start here because we have the best information to be able to give them the best experience. And I believe that is all that I wanted to cover. Hey, 50 minutes.
Amazing. I mean, just time that out perfectly. Thank you, Andy, and the work that you guys have been doing. And the reason that I wanted to have this as a part of the agenda today was allowing us to be able to have some discussion on it collectively, whereas we can't ordinarily do that. So I appreciate each one of you taking the time to sit down with the KPS3 team as well and give your input, and Candy as well, being a part of some of the initial conversations that have gotten us to this point, I guess. Comments, questions, concerns, anything you're not seeing in here or you think is missing?
No,
Yeah,
I just
go
want
for
to
it.
thank you guys because you've made it very easy. We're all working in this weird silo, so it's kind of hard, but you guys have made it super convenient for all of us. Even when we can't all get together, you still do, and then you report back to us. So I do appreciate that a lot. And also, I'm seeing a lot of the things that almost everything we've discussed has made it to this. So you're really listening to what we're wanting, which is hard to find sometimes when you work with Dave. And then I meant to whisper. No, it's been great, and so far I haven't been this excited for this new project until we started working together. So I think it's gonna be great.
Thank you.
Are you ladies okay with directionally where we're going? Yeah.
Yes, I think it's great. I think you hit all the major areas that I'm aware of and that we've discussed as far as issues in the past. So I'm looking forward as to what you bring forward.
Excellent.
I'm not sure that was my quote. Because I'm not sure I would have said the world, but
We optimized it.
okay, yeah.
Better for SEO.
I
for
know
this
how you
presentation.
guys operate. But speaking about that, I thought the field trip thing was great. I think that should be something we should do. And then we really want to beef up the history. We don't just want to talk about the history of railroading in Nevada or the mines. Everything's connected. We want to explain how Lake Tahoe is connected to Virginia City and the whole railroading, just from Reno, all that stuff. So I feel like it's so much bigger. And then there was also mining boons in other parts of the state. So if we are going to start educating kids, I think it needs to be more on Nevada's history. I mean, we could teach Nevada's history on this trip.
Mm.
On that, we recently in Virginia City, we recently built a flyer with like pre-made up field trip ideas that we sent. We're trying to get in touch with like Washoe County. I haven't reached out to Carson yet, but because of you. So I think something. Go ahead. I think something like that would be beneficial for us to just put together a one sheet. I've learned in working with a lot of teachers, educators, that if we take the thought process out of it, the planning, it makes it a lot easier. So if we can come up with maybe not a full page, but just
Right.
a section where it's like, hey, if you bring your kids as your students to this is what they'll get, kind of thing. So
And that's where maybe we want to partner with the museums because they have museum educators that work with the schools all the time and put that material together. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I love this.
I think that is a good, yeah. I was thinking about, that must have been you, Michelle, I was thinking about the program that we started many moons ago with the museums and busing kids out and, Vegas up and all parts of the state. I was thinking about that. We are a state commission or a political subdivision or whatever of the state, so I would hope that that funding could also be applicable to us in some way, shape, or form. I don't know the nuances of all of that, but perhaps have to talk to Dan or somebody
Mhm.
about that. But that'd be pretty cool to incorporate the V&T
Yeah.
into their experience. So I like that idea. The other thing too, I appreciate that you guys are trying to work us through the confusion about the 3 different excursion experiences. And a week doesn't go by and we don't get somebody calling and yelling at us because they bought the wrong ticket. In their mind, they bought the right ticket, but it was not for the thing that they thought they were going to do, right? And so I think if we can help get through some of this, I'm all for it. So I love the idea of integrating with the DMOs and ticketing, and I've been thinking about for our website too. Maybe we just go ahead and lay out all 3 opportunities for people. Yes, we're Carson City, but in light of the confusion that people seem to have about which ticket is for what, ideally someday my goal would be to buy one ticket or one pass, and you can do all 3 while you're here. But that is a bigger bite at the apple because of the money piece, right? And who collects what, who remits what to who, and then we got to deal with 363 or whatever for the state. But that, if we could ever get to that point where somebody doesn't have to try to pick and choose, what they do, and you buy one pass, and it's a boom, one thing. It's on your phone, and then you can go to the Railroad Museum. I'd love to incorporate the State Museum. I think that'd be cool.
What you're saying is great, and I also think that this is the first step to that, in that it's really creating awareness that there are 3 different. Because some people just show up and they're like, I want to ride a train. They don't know that there's a museum and a short. So, Yes, ideally, I'd like to see what you're talking about, future us, when we're not here anymore doing this. But yes, I think this is a great way to kind of broach that subject in the first place is, hey, we can all kind of share that we have these things available, and the website is a perfect place for them to
Right.
start looking at that.
Well, even to incentivize people to, after they experience the training, saying $2 off if you want to go to the Railroad Museum could be kind of
Yeah.
an interesting piece.
And
And then
it's
you have the
simple.
data
Yeah.
to be able to show that maybe we should look at it more of a collective promotion because we got, 100 people, let's just say a day, which would be great, to be able to go to the museum after that. And it's obviously really popular.
Ooh, yeah, that's something to think about on the backside of our ticket. Perhaps allow
cool.
you to ride short line or come to the Railroad Museum. Huh. I mean, I know we have to
'Cause we
figure that
have
out with the
full-
board for ticket price, but
We
oh,
have
yeah.
full control over what that ticket looks like, right? So we can put
Do
whatever on the back of that.
front and back, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not PEX tickets, but just our regular
the
long
regular
line tickets.
yeah.
We own that.
So
Candy
like
can do what she wants.
a
so-
discount to get into the museum or
Or
free
ride the
pass?
the VTRR.
Or ride
Yeah.
VTRR, yeah. I like that. Huh. Huh. See? Candy.
You can come back
Come on,
anytime.
yeah. Do you want to say something? Yeah, Candy, please, yeah. No. All ticketing starts and ends with this young lady that's coming up to the microphone.
Oh, boy. Andy Duncan, ticketing. Listening to this discussion, I wanted to just tell you, we did get a school group from Vegas this summer. And the kids all raised the money to be able to make this trip. And I was really pleased. It's the first time I've seen that happen because it's so expensive. So if we were going to really court those school groups, my recommendation would be, which I was going to say to you anyway, is we had trouble filling those diesel trains and we had trouble filling some Saturday trains. So if we could somehow figure out a way to give the schools a schedule of the trains that are, we would customize for school field trips and make them be those diesel trains. And then like Michelle said, have the museum help write a script so that they're not just going to get their regular core narration that we do all the time, but one that's more customized for school students and to incorporate Nevada history. And I think it's fourth grade.
Oh, that's
Is
what I
it
was
fourth
just
grade?
about to say.
Yeah,
Yes.
so make that a special thing for fourth grade families and offer, if it pencils out, offer a lower price for those schools. And then we could put them in one car and then still have the general public in the other cars. So,
Candy, was that group from Las Vegas? Were they here to see the Capitol?
yeah, they did the whole thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they did. Yeah, so it was cool.
But they paid on their own.
They
You
did.
said not taking advantage of
I
the
gave them
general
a
fund.
discount.
Okay.
I gave them I decided the group discount
Yeah, yeah.
and then gave them that.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Well, so I think we should look into this, the state's opportunity, right, for the 7 museum properties to see if that could be expanded to us.
Yeah.
So they're not having to pay for things on their own or fundraise or
Right,
whatever,
because
yeah.
for a group to rent a whole train would be
Yeah,
really
cost
expensive.
prohibitive, yeah.
But a car holds 72 passengers, so that might be
Right,
yeah,
yeah, a bus.
a bus of kids, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, good
Ah,
ideas.
that's great. Are you comfortable with things, as far as what we walk through, Candy? Do anything you think
Yeah,
is missing, or?
I am. I
Okay.
mean, you have to remember, especially keep bringing in the components of the short line and the railroad museum, the different personalities and cultures
Mm-hmm. Right.
that are involved in those different railroads.
Sure,
So
sure.
that will be an interesting exercise in getting everyone to not
Yeah.
be so territorial.
Right.
And that's going to be a challenge that we all
Yeah.
know is there. But I think it will benefit all of us. It makes sense.
Oh, agreed, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, that's good input. It's great feedback. And I think you guys are on the right track. And I appreciate the work that you all put in, the team. So please share that back with everyone. So, and thank you for taking one for the team to be here and present in front of these
Love it. I enjoy
tough
it. I appreciate
young
it.
ladies up here on stage. So, yeah.
Tough,
Oh, that's
tough
awesome.
room.
Tough room. It is. It's a rough crowd too. Yeah. Any other comments or feedback? Andy, would you? I know you didn't want to touch on the timeline, but would you mind just kind of giving the group, so everybody has an expectation. Just we'll have a retreat, presumably the end of January or early February. I think we need to get it earlier this year so we can figure out what we want to do with the additional trains and the theme trains, and then to make sure that we get Tom's schedule right before the 1st of March. So I just, if you would, thank you.
Yeah, we are aligning to be able to help be able to present in front of these meetings as well. So that really helped be able to help inform the timeline that we have ahead of you today. And so currently with holidays coming up and as we're starting to finish up the Polar Express as well on your side, our goal is to be able to get this, and I think as Dave mentioned that we're being able to launch in March. I think we were actually looking to revise this to early March from my understanding as well. And so that hasn't been reflected for this, but I know that's been in those discussions. But really, that's really alignment of making sure that we're presenting the right at the right times with the meetings that we can. And so that's really the current timeline that we have set forth.
And Candy, don't panic, because I asked like 40 questions a week and a half ago about being able to load the schedule, and that it can still be done. So if we get March 1st, Tom, hey, here's what we want to do, long line, theme trains, toast of, whatever, you name it, it can be done in Fair Harbor, independent of bringing the new website online. So that's the good news, is we can still build all of the schedules out. And Sarah Polito with KPS3 did tell us, I believe, Leah, that we could even allow people in March on the current website, if you wanted to, they could buy tickets, right? And then we would do the switch over to the brand new website. So hypothetically, we don't have we're zero downtime, I guess, from a ticketing standpoint, right? So that'll be up to, however you want to do that, Candy, and the timing of getting everything approved. But I'm okay with this. And especially if we can get it done in the early part of March, which it sounds like that may be the case, that'll, I think, even be better. Be good timing, because we'll just have set the schedule right March 1st or on or before March 1st. So yeah, fingers crossed. So cool. Does anybody have any concerns with the schedule? Okay, great. Any last hard-hitting questions for Andy? Well, okay.
Yeah, thank you for the
Thank you, sir.
discussion.
Yeah.
It's great to be
No,
here.
keep up the good work. This is great. It's exciting stuff. I'm happy to get ourselves a new website here. So this is delightful. Thank you, Andy. All right. With that, we'll move on to agenda item. Well, I'm going to take something out of. Well, is Liz still on? She was there, and then.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes.
So
Can you hear
I
me?
would, Liz, because you're on, if it's okay, I'm going to take, Mihaela, I'm going to take 10 out of order. Now, I don't see Liz, though. She's not on. Is she on there?
the
Could you
video's
hear her?
on.
Oh, perfect. Oh, okay. Oh, great. Hi, Liz. Okay, great. So let's we're gonna come back to 9. Let's move to agenda item 10 for possible action, discussion of possible action regarding a proposed agreement with Celadon Events for Christmas decorations at the Eastgate Depot during the 2024 Polar Express train ride event for a total amount not to exceed $7,800. Liz is on, and this is extremely similar, if not identical. Less cost to the commission, which is a good thing. I think that was noted by you all last year, but similar to the contract from last year. And Liz, is it okay if I just turn it over to you to kind of talk through what the plan would be for 2024 for the decorating of the Eastgate
Sure,
Depot?
that's fine.
Okay, and just identify
Uh-huh.
yourself, will you, Liz, just for the ladies to put in the minutes, please?
Sure. My name is Elizabeth, and I am from Celadon Events. I am the owner. And is that enough? Do you need more info?
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, no, thank you, Liz. Thank you.
Can you hear me okay? Because I have on some headphones.
Yes. Can you see?
Okay,
Can
okay,
you
good.
see us,
All right.
or you can't see us? Huh?
No, and it's funny because the only thing I see is myself,
Oh.
but I'm not super familiar with WebEx.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, no, I see
Oh,
you. I see you
Okay.
now. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
perfect. Okay. Thank you, Liz.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through this real quick, the quote, starting from the top.
Yes. That'd be great.
So it has similarities to last year, but it's not identical. We did make changes in terms of some of the colors. And we also made changes which are not represented here, and I assume is separate in terms of some backdrops that are being used in the actual train loading area, which I'm sure you're all aware of. But I'll start out with from the top, we have 150 total feet of gold or blue drape. We like to leave a little flexibility in this, so either or, depending on the location. And then we also have additional red drape that's going to be used in the Santa area to basically surround Santa in his little workshop area. And the panels are attached. We do all of the work related to this. And let's see, I'm just going to continue down to the next one, which is additional poles, clips, clamps. These are just hardware elements that I tell my staff to bring. They're not actually something we charge for. It's just something we need to bring. And then we will be installing the additional backdrops that are not listed on this quote. I believe they are coming from the person who is coordinating the talent.
So, Liz, yes, let me just address that
Yes.
really, really quick. So yes, Carla is working on the backdrops and painting in the depot, but that is not just to be really clear, it's not in this quote. So we're purchasing those things as the V&T, so that way we can have those every year. So just to clarify, that's not in the quote that you're looking at. So when Liz is referring to the backdrops, that's something we're purchasing as the commission. Yes.
Yes, but we will install them. And then we have 600 feet of LED market lights, which are low power in terms of they don't pull a huge amount of power and they won't blow the fuses. And 300 are in the store and 300 are in the depot, with additional extra mini lights and additional smaller lights that will be brought in so that we can increase the amount of light used and thus be able to turn off the fluorescence, which would be great. This year we will be using a light gold and royal blue. They're the traditional Polar Express colors in that room. We will, for the ceiling swags, will be mostly gold. It's a light gold, so that we don't cut down on the light in the room. So they wanted it to be lighter, so it's easier to see, basically. The fabric's flame retarded. It comes from a company in Los Angeles, or in New York, and I do have certification if you need that. 3 large wreaths are hung with blue and gold ornaments around the space. There's a little bit of flexibility here. We actually will probably bring an extra wreath with us in case we need 4. Just depends on how the room lays out this year, because it's always a little bit different. And I think that some items are being removed, but that's neither here nor there. And then we are going to put some round ornaments on it, again sticking with the blue and gold color scheme, and some ribbon. Then we have 1 large Christmas tree decorated with blue and gold ornaments, lights, and ribbons. This is going to be a new Christmas tree purchased by us for the space. And the height-wise, I think we're going for an 8-foot tall one. And then the next one is the staff. We have some extra hours in here for installing the backdrops. And then we have our truck and car transportation, which basically that's kind of obvious. And it's just basically pays for our gas. And that's it. We are flexible, so we can make changes. If anyone would like some, please let me know.
Thank you, Liz, for talking us through the proposed setup of the depot for this year. Any questions for Liz about what's being planned? Go ahead. Yeah, Stephanie has a question, Liz.
I don't know if this is necessarily
Sure.
for Liz or it might be more for Sherry, but I remember a couple months back, we were talking about some light strings that we had, extra lights, something that, and at that time, the thought was, well, is that something we could maybe use outside during polar? And I don't know if maybe the colors aren't right or if there was any follow, I mean, because the cost for lights is pretty expensive and I agree that it's necessary and we want to have it illuminated in that way. But did we have something that we could use that might lower the cost a little?
I don't know that I ever checked
Well-
on the lights, to tell you the truth. Did you find the lights when you, no? Sorry.
I know we cannot use the lights from the North Pole because they're multicolor, and we're only
Right.
allowed to use like cool white or like those bright white
Okay.
LED lights.
I
or
think
whatever.
that's what
I
it
think
was, were the
that's-
lights
yeah.
from the north.
So I don't
Okay.
think we're even allowed. We can't put those up at the depot either. I don't think, right? Per our
I
agreement
don't
with
think
rail
so, no.
events. So we're kind of stuck. Yeah, well, yeah, make more money, and make some money. So, I mean, unless we have some LED white light strings somewhere, but I don't remember ever seeing them.
Yeah, I think when you
So-
brought up Polar, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about the fact that we were going to have to do some reconstruction, buy some new lights, and the question was, could we reuse what is there? But it sounds like the color schemes are off, so
I believe
no worries.
we're kind of stuck there by virtue of the other agreement, so. Okay, any other questions for Liz or Sherry? Anybody but me? Good. All right, Liz, thank you. With that, anybody want to make a motion on this item? And thank you, Liz, for working with us, to kind of keep the cost down for this year. We really appreciate that, so thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, you can always give me a specific budget number and we can stick to that.
Okay. Oh, boy. Now Treasurer Cruz will have a number in mind. $1, Liz. Don't do that.
Mhm.
Don't offer that up.
You will
At
not
least
get
gonna
very
say
much for
100.
$1.
Yeah, no, we'll get one light.
Yeah.
One big light in the middle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Can I move?
Yeah, you can,
Okay.
yeah, please, yeah.
I
go-
move
go
to
ahead.
approve the agreement with Celadon Events as presented, and I do want to notate that the agreement should, or the total amount should not exceed $7,800.
Sounds good. Thank you for that motion, Leah. Do I have a second?
A second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Motion carries unanimously. All right, Liz, this is great. Thank you very much. So Sherry will
Thank you.
get you an agreement. I'll get this signed before we head out today, and then she'll get it to you probably via email to countersign, and we'll rock and roll. So thank you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you very much.
Great. Yeah, take care. Thanks,
Have a
Liz.
great day.
Thank you. Goodbye. All right. Let's return back then, order-wise, to agenda item 9 for possible action, discussion and possible action regarding proposed amendment number 1 to contract FY 23-001 with Coons Construction LLC, exercising the option to renew the original contract for 3 additional years through December 31st, 2027, and modifying the scope of work to include additional necessary services for the setup, teardown, and maintenance of the North Pole for the Polar Express train ride for an additional amount of $11,857 in 2024, and for the amount of $62,485 for years 2025 through 2027. And that would result in a new total contract not to exceed amount of $339,312. So just some background on this, and I want to thank Anna and Kelly and the whole team, and Carla and Sherry. We met with them to address the damage, to a lot of those structures. I'm surprised that they were barely standing, but they put braces and probably more screws and nails in those things just to get us through last year. To be quite frank, we really should have probably done this last year, but they were trying to respect, sort of the budget situation that we were in. So the idea here was to just bring one amendment forward for the commission to look at, rather than having to try and piecemeal this situation over multiple meetings. So we have the current situation where we do need to upgrade some of the scenes. Excuse me, not upgrade, rebuild some of the buildings, right? Because they're shot; they can't be put up again. And so that's the 11,857 for 2024, and then we have the option to extend this for 3 additional years. And so that's what you see, the additional 6245. So that will allow us to upgrade some of the scenes, talking about building the 10 to 12 arches, replacing the bottom half of the bell tower. Some of these things we are obligated to do based on Carla's participation at the May, I want to call it training, but basically the rail events prep, for 2024. So the idea here was to account for the new structures, the enhancements that we're going to be required to do. And we talked through those with the Coons Construction staff and ownership. And I have to say, they're great, right? I mean, they're kind enough to donate the land that we build the North Pole on. And they've given us, I think, a really great deal here. This is below market cost, in terms of supplies and wages and everything. And they're really passionate. They're a great partner of ours. And so I thought it was the right thing to do was to exercise this full 3-year extension that we have. And they kept the pricing the same for 25, 26, 27, as you see in here. So that's just a little bit of background on what you all have in front of you today.
Can I ask a question
you
about
can
the
ask as
background?
many questions as you
When
want.
was this this pre-me, when were all these structures originally built? How long have they lasted, quote unquote?
Gosh, come on up, Carla. You know better. Tom was using them when Tom was building.
That's
our
what I
North Pole,
thought.
and
Okay.
even before that.
All right, that's kind of what I thought.
But Carla can give you the honest answer.
Carla Wilson, director of the Polar Express production. They started building those about 2 years into the Polar Express event. And they've been through a lot of flooding, sat in water. We've had them blow over because of wind. We've had some vandalism up there in the past. And they're truly tired.
That's exactly what I figured. I just wanted to make sure I was imagining it correctly.
Yeah, and I feel like at the end of the day, everybody, we're making an investment in the product, right? The experience that these families are going to have, and we're not suggesting that this, talk to Carla, we're not just overnight. Ooh, it's a whole new North Pole experience, but basically building it up to this over the duration of what this extension would be. So we'll be rocking and rolling for, I think, 2027 for sure.
Yeah, just so the rest of the commission knows, the rail events gave us a technical guide this year, and it has all of the architecture in it, what they would like to see done, and it's really controlled by Warner Brothers as to what they want up there, and they want it to depict what you see in the movie as closely as possible, because every railroad location is different. But I gave that to Coons Construction so they could see where we would try to head so that we would be in compliance in the next few years with what they actually would like us to look like.
Yeah, go ahead, Stephanie, please.
So just for clarification, then the 62,000 a year through 27 that's not going to continue on at 62,000 a year after that. We hope, because we're rebuilding now, and then the maintenance should be less in 28, 29.
I'm looking at Carla, but that's kind of the conversation we had with Anna and the team.
That is the
Yes.
conversation, because it's too costly to try and do it now. But when we met with Coons, we talked about the simplest way to start is building what we call the arches from the movie depiction. So they were going to work on that first. And then Next year, they will tackle the bell tower and all, or the clock tower, basically, and other things like that. They did not know that we needed warm white lights instead of colored. So they had taken it upon themselves, which is fine because they didn't know, to make one of the Christmas trees out of colored lights. So that has to be changed. The other thing that was presented in that technical guide is a real looking Christmas tree that is on an apparatus that you can add to every year. So you can start small and then you increase as you go, but that's something else that they would be looking at.
Yeah, I think it was a thoughtful approach, right? Rather than just trying to put all of this together. We're also trying to balance if Rail Events perhaps changes something back or next year, when Carla and the team goes. So I think we are addressing the things that just came up, at least for this year. And then so we have this opportunity as Carla attends in May, if there's something new or they change something, at least we will not have build something and then, oh no, take that down. Yeah, right. We're not allowed to do that or whatever. So I think it's good timing, as far as Carla attending what is it called? Not the retreat, but the training.
It's Polar Express Enhancement Camp.
There you go. Enhancement camp. That's even a higher level than a normal camp. So yeah, so yeah. Does that help, Stephanie?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Of course. Yeah. Any other questions on this item? Anybody want to make a motion?
I move to approve the amendment as proposed.
Thank you for that motion, Stephanie. Do I have a second?
I second the emotion.
Oh, yes,
The
Michelle with
I
a
was
quick
gonna say
quick
emotion.
second. Yeah, you're seconding the motion. All right. Okay, so we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion on item number 9? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Carla. Yeah, Carla was great on helping get this thing through. So wonderful. Okay. With that, we'll move on to agenda item 11 for discussion only. These are our monthly non-action items. We'll start with 11A if that's okay, Sherry, and then we'll go right to you, Carla. But we'll do 11A, Executive Assistant Update. Sherry Bailey, take it away.
Sherry Bailey, Executive Assistant. I'll be brief. We officially ended the long line this past weekend, so good season. We're hot and heavy into Polar Express. We extended an invitation to firefighters on the Davies Fire to join us for media night at the 8 p.m. train, and we've had great response to that. And next week, we will be sending out the invites for the media night as well, and hopefully to fill that train up. The
14
yes.
November. And you ladies will all be on that invite, of
that's
course. I'm
right,
just trying to
that's
finish up
right.
something. Leah is just getting me some additional names, so then I'll share that back.
You asked me for yesterday. Don't make it seem like I was the one holding this up.
Wow. Wow. When's Leah's term up, Mihaela? This
Tomorrow.
commission.
Can I ask something about
You
that?
can ask whatever you would like.
Can we do something on social media saying about inviting the firefighters to the train? I think that's a great look and
Sure.
feel and vibe. Like maybe just if we get a picture of them when they show up to post. I think it's a wonderful feel-good moment.
Yeah.
Would you like something to go out? We gave the different fire departments until this Friday, right,
Right,
to
the
respond back.
25th
Yep.
to respond.
To see.
I think
they're-
just even I
Oh,
don't
at
want
the
to. I
event.
don't want to
Oh.
like ahead of time.
Oh,
Be like,
okay.
guess what we're doing? But it would
Yeah.
be really cool after
Yeah.
the event or the
That's
night
fine.
of.
We'll
Yeah.
see
to
if
take a
maybe if
picture.
Regina can.
Yeah, let's see if
take some
Regina can do
photos.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Okay.
May I,
Please,
while you're
Carla.
on
Yeah,
that,
go ahead.
while
Yeah.
you're on that subject, One of my cast members is actually a REMSA supervisor. And he came to me and, because I've been telling the cast about the firefighters. And he came to me and he said, did anybody invite our dispatchers? Because they were the ones doing all the communication and dispatching everything during that fire. So I didn't know if they had been invited, but I wanted to bring it up today to see if that's something we could do. Maybe it's not on the 8 o'clock train, maybe it's on the 5 or 6:30, depending on space availability.
So I don't know the answer to that question. John Bacadal helped by reaching out to each of the individual, I want to say fire departments or groups to communicate for those that were involved with the Davis fire. But I will ask that question, and if the question is, were the dispatchers
From REMSA,
from REMSA invited?
yes.
Or a part of
Part of
what
the
was
group.
submitted out by all the fire teams. Okay, I will ask that question, but I don't know the answer to that.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
The other thing that we're doing too, Candy, Sherry, and I met, and we have leftover collector's mugs from last year, and we have enough to give those to that 8 o'clock train so that they all
I love it.
have a collector's mug.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, fantastic, you guys. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Candy.
Just a quick Candy Duncan. Regarding the firefighters, I've had a tremendous response. And so far, I've booked 173 firefighters and their families for that train. So just to keep in mind, I've only got, well, it's 215 is the total. So between, that's what we have left on the firefighter train.
Oh, that's delightful.
And then I was also thinking, in relationship to what Leah said, I was thinking it would be really cool to have a banner made for the depot for that night, so we can say the
Yeah.
V&T Railway
Thanks,
welcomes,
yeah.
the Davis firefighters, because that would be a really good look for us too.
Ah,
And it
there's
would
a
be neat
great
for them.
picture then
They
to
could
have
get their
them.
families by the
yeah.
banner and take
Oh, yeah.
pictures and all that stuff.
Holding their mugs.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
Pointing to our
Yes.
logo.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
That's an excellent idea.
It's a
If we
warm
could get a
fuzzy.
banner, made, that would be great. Okay, I like that idea. And I will still try to figure out the answer to your question, Carla, about dispatchers from the REMSA, if they were a part of
Thank
the.
you.
Yeah, the invitation. Cool. These are great ideas.
I'm sorry, I interrupted Sherry. You can
no,
go
That was
Yeah,
all,
no.
no.
Is that-
it's-
is that
your-
it?
You're on stage.
Oh, well,
no.
okay, if that's,
It's
okay,
your
any
turn.
questions for Sherry? Because if not, then we'll move on to 11B, Polar Express Production Update. Carla, and thank you for being here, Carla. I just wanted to, it's
No
our last
worries.
opportunity because our meeting will have already started. So I
Yes.
thought it'd be great to know how you're doing, how you feel, where we're at.
Okay. It's really going well. I had a wonderful turnout for auditions, casting, and thank you to, I think it's Regina's the marketing. She did a wonderful job getting that word out. I have a cast of 55, which is incredible compared to previous years. It's probably about 15 more people than I'm used to getting. So that was really good. I brought in a improv director from Reno Improv. And these are all kids that are young and don't have a lot of experience. And they had a good time learning that. Few questions. Let's see. On the backdrops, I want to cover those really quickly. So in the depot, when I went to camp, they said you need to try and create an immersive experience from the minute they walk through the door to when they board the train and they leave. So I went out and using AI technology, because I could not get approval from Warner Brothers to use their artwork from the book to create backdrops, I went out and created AI-generated scenery. And one backdrop is a huge mountain peak that's snow-covered, and it would give I feel it'll give the impression that they're heading to that mountain, because in the story, they circle a mountain. Then there's rolling hills that bring them on the other side, which brings them back to kind of where we are, and we're gradually going up to that mountain. I was able to find a street scene or create a street scene of snow-covered homes that looked like they could have come from West Carson. So that kind of ties Carson City in. We're moving the train facade into the corner, and I'm putting a starry sky behind that, trying to give that ambiance that this train appeared out of nowhere. I sent all these to Rail Events. They approved them, and we're very excited. So that's been a wonderful thing. Dave approved us painting in the depot. The white wall in the loading zone, it's got use. It's got chips in it and everything else. So we're going to paint that black. And the backdrops are only going to go up to the middle bar, which is 11 feet, the middle beam. So we're going to paint above that in black so that it's more of a theatrical type ambiance when you go in. We did get all of the lights that were covered by the black backdrops by the Santa wall, but on the retail side that had been put up 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of them weren't working. So they were all removed, and the wood wall is now still is there. So it looks a lot nicer. I have the North Pole groups all in place. They've all been recruited and put into place. They know when they're supposed to be there. I already covered the technical. We have new elf costumes. Our old ones were bought from Costumes Plus and stuff, and they served well, but through washing and everything, they just are falling apart. So Dave and Candy and I had met, and we had new elf costumes being made so that we look more uniform instead of here's Party America's elf and here's ours, since they're all supposed to match. So that's in progress. And last thing is, two things. This year, I changed the script, kind of refreshed since it's the 20th anniversary. And one of the things that is a huge, I can't think of the word I want to use, but anyway, it's a carry through the show is believe. Do you believe? And I have now embossed 6,500 golden tickets. There's 20,000. I know. I've embossed 6,500 of them so far. My husband got really upset when I brought him into the bedroom to watch TV, it's like, But anyway, so I've embossed them with a bee. So when Candy gives them out, we will, they will have a bee on them. And then when we get to the end of the show, the conductor voiceover talks about your ticket was punched with a very special letter, and now it's time to decide, do you know what that means? And they all supposed to say believe. And then there's a little more about it. So we're trying to extend that part of the experience also. They did have bells that were dated 2024, so we did order those. So we're trying to really add some different things. I changed up the songs during the Santa going through, and the Christmas Twist is one of them, and it has a saxophone solo in it. So we have blow-up saxophones that the cast brings out and blows up or plays like they're playing them. And that's added some more energy to the show. Tom asked that we do not get people up in the train aisle, and that's fine, so we will not be doing that. And let's see, last I have a question. I need to know when I should bill for the remainder. Our payroll starts 11/21. So I need to know when I should submit an invoice for the payroll of the cast.
submit, I would say, when you
I
need
mean-
to have the money to pay everybody. I honestly,
Right,
I don't
well,
want you in a
the check dates, there's November 1st and then the 15th, and the 15th would be too late. So I'd have to submit it on the 1st.
No, you need to submit it
Oh,
for payment on the 1st.
for payment on the
So
1st,
I think
sorry.
this month for
November.
for November. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, if the 15th is making
Yeah,
you
because,
too nervous, that's fine.
okay.
I'm, for my part.
I just wanted to make
Yep,
sure
yep.
before I submitted.
Because will have to review things next Monday, right? For the first?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Other than that, I mean, if you have any questions, I'm really pleased. I'm excited. The cast is excited. I'm really excited to bring something new and freshen up the show itself. Sure.
The higher number of cast members, do you attribute that mostly to the social media outreach for that, or do you think people are just getting more interested? Like, is it a mishmash of different reasons?
I think it is a mishmash. Social media was very helpful. The marketing that Regina did was wonderful. And I'm going to let my ego speak here a little bit. I feel that I have probably 20 returning cast members.
That's awesome.
And they are very good at bringing new people with them and getting people excited about it. So it is a mishmash, but I'm tickled pink.
And the only reason I bring this up is that I don't know about anyone else on this board. I'm just solely speaking for myself. Occasionally, I hear the comment. They're like, "Oh, I've been there, done that," and they kind of like with going to Polar Express and riding the train. And so I just wanted to make sure that there's still this proves to me that there's still a great love for this production, and that people, obviously, aside from ticket sales and things like that, it's just, it's nice to hear that people are still really interested in joining the cast and doing all the things for it. And so I applaud your efforts to getting
Thank
those
you.
people to come back. That's great.
Questions, comments for Carla? Great work.
Thank
I
you.
love the energy, the effort you've put in, some innovation here, and you're right. The experience starts the moment they walk
Mhm.
through the door, and I think you all are seeing we're making that investment in the overall experience from arguably the point I guess they get in the parking lot, and we're not charging for parking, so we don't have that weird situation
boy,
where people
that's
are
been a
already
good
all,
thing.
all weirded out by everything. But yeah, I mean, the moment they get in to the moment they get off and
Yeah.
leave the parking lot, I think it's going to be just awesome. Quite
Yeah,
frankly.
thank
So,
you.
nice work. Yeah, this is great. All right. If there are no further questions for Carla, then thank you, Carla.
Thank
Again,
you.
Great work. Thank you for giving us the update. Really appreciate it. We won't see her again because she'll be knee deep in this in November. So. Yes, go. Drive safe. Yes. Thank you, Carla. Okay, we will go ahead and move on to 11Z, Operations and Train Report. Candy, you're going to take this one for Tom, so thank you.
Yes, thank you, Candy Duncan. Yes, Tom told me that, to let you all know that he finished loading up the train equipment to go to Butte last night. They got it out of there last night, so that's exciting. I wish I could see it all go by. That would be
Did
neat,
anybody?
but
There was pictures on social media.
Were
of
there?
people they were like, "Where is this going? I thought we need. I thought we needed it."
yeah, we had some concerns from people on the train on Sunday when they heard that it was going to be taken. Will it be back for Polar Express? Yes.
I was wondering that too.
Of course it will be. And then Tom said, also, Carla, before you leave.
Yes.
He moved the storage shed over, so there's more room now between the your place and the.
He moved it?
Yeah, he moved it.
It got moved further back.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Darnell, everyone.
Okay. Good to know.
So the season has ended, of course, and I have some thoughts. I mean, I think it was really a great season, and it was I have no complaints about it, other than I wish we would have had more passengers on those diesel trains and on some of the Sundays that were just so, we had, it's a beautiful trip, and to only have 75 passengers on it seems kind of sad. So I just think that when we do our retreat, it would be good of us to think about ways to build up the ridership for those 2 days. But then, because everything is ironic, our last weekend, our Saturday train only had 118 passengers, while our Sunday train had 192. So go figure. But anyway, but most of that was because there was a Sierra Pacific Railway, or Southern, thank you, Darnell, it's not Sierra, that's gas. Southern Pacific Railway Group was on the train that day too, so. But it's really been, I'd like to see us be able to, I know that there's a reason why Tom wants diesel trains, because he wants to give the steam equipment a rest, but we need to make it more fun, more profitable, I think, for us. And I think we can do that. The Polar Express tickets, just a quick update. We are completely sold out for the last 4 days the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 20th also in December are all completely sold out. All of the private class cars are completely sold out. We have actually 3 days when the 8 o'clock classic coach has absolutely no sales whatsoever, which is, 3
Wait,
days,
what-
11:15 at 8 o'clock, no classic coaches has been sold. 11:17 at 8 o'clock, same thing, no classic tickets gone. And the 21st of November, those are all November dates. And they're all Thursdays.
that-
I think.
Thursdays?
Yeah, so.
Is the 15th Friday, though? Aren't we 14 for the media train? On
Yeah,
Thursday?
the 15th is the day after we
So,
start.
so
That's right.
Friday,
A
Sunday,
Friday
and then-
has no sales?
That, at 8 o'clock on the classic. All the VIPs are done. It's just that,
Yeah.
that
Wow.
classic coach has had no sales for those
Is there
3.
s-
Yeah, we
yeah,
still
we
have time.
Is there
but-
something going on those days that would,
I just think
like,
it's,
nobody bought a ticket?
people are,
Oh.
it's just, I know it's strange that it's worked out that way, but I just thought maybe we could let Regina know. and-
Yes, and then I think connecting her with the Northern Nevada Moms Group, I did send her the
Right.
name, because I just said Moms Group, but it's Northern Nevada Moms Group. Maybe if they're, and I must give them a shout out, they've been kind enough to help put out posts or what have you to that whole group of moms and their kids and everything.
Would it,
So, yes.
would it make sense for her to make a graphic that shows those dates, like for sure, ticket availability
Oh,
with
yeah.
Yeah,
those
something like-
specific
Excellent
dates?
idea.
Yeah,
I
because
noticed-
otherwise, if we're just saying there's still tickets, you still have to dig through to find
Right.
Yeah.
what
There-
dates are available.
This morning, there was a commercial on not a commercial. It was
Radio?
they did
Like a segment.
a segment
Oh.
about Polar Express still having tickets left on Channel 8. So that was really good.
Good.
Oh, perfect.
And they did
okay.
mention the specific dates that still had coach.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think-
Classic
and
and
just a
deluxe
quick
coach.
little, make something up that just says, if
Yeah.
you're guaranteed tickets on these dates, maybe not guaranteed, we don't guarantee anything.
No,
but
we don't.
You can get tickets. Tickets are available for these dates, yeah.
Yeah, so the email that just went out to our database was yesterday. I'm just looking
yeah,
at the
that's right,
dates.
one went
It
out.
said November 16th deluxe and classic seats on all runs, 16 deluxe and classic seats at 8 p.m., 17 just 2 VIP tables left at 8 p.m. and deluxe and classic seats. And then she also included beyond the 21st, she had the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And then
Of November?
of November. But I think that's, Candy, I think that's from the schedule you gave us
Yeah,
a week ago. Yeah, okay.
They've
And-
sold out.
And maybe those sold out as a result of just pushing that
Yeah.
to our own
think they
email
did.
database. Because the December 1, 5, 8 were also with deluxe and classic seats. So
Yeah, and they've been
perhaps
sold.
sold all those out too.
Yeah. So,
Jeez. No, it cracks me up, you guys. Like just an email blast or even the social media
Right.
seems to be our way to encourage people to get on one of our
Mm-hmm.
excursions. It floors me. So how well social media works, for sure. But yes, can you all coordinate then with Regina and loop Leah in just to help? I like that idea about the whatever you said, but where it actually shows the dates on the post or whatever.
I get frustrated when I have to go through and like kind of start.
Yeah.
looking, so that
But
way we
there
can at
is,
least-
if you go to the calendar,
You
do you
can
ever
see it,
click on
yeah.
that? It gives you real-time availability, and the dates with
Yeah,
seats available are bordered in blue, so you can just right away
see them.
see what's there.
Do we have that as any kind of text on there?
Yeah, I think Leah's suggesting, Candy, the actual social media, like it would be a graphic before you would already know before you click to even get through to our website.
okay.
She just is suggesting highlighting the specific dates in the organic post or the paid
Right.
post or whatever. We get to the point where we have to do some paid stuff, but just on an organic, which I
We
think would
really
be
just want
good.
to get them there, and even if they get
Yeah.
to a date where they're like, "Oh, I don't really want this one," at least they're in there looking
Yeah,
at what.
they can see it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah.
But I would also add, did we not add how many additional seats this year? We have over 16,000 as compared to what, 14,000 something last year?
Wow.
So, I mean, I think we're pacing very well given the fact that we added, I don't know how, a couple thousand seats or 1,800 seats or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
Or, yeah, I
I'm
feel
not
like it's a
sure.
big increase in,
How did we do that?
well, how did you do that, Candy?
did we do
By
that?
recreating the different ticketing options,
Oh,
right,
oh,
in
okay,
the
I
cars.
got
So
it.
I know, and maybe
Yes.
I'm wrong suggesting it was a couple thousand seats, but
I mean, it's still the same amount of seats, because it's the same
Oh.
amount of cars
well,
as
gosh
last
darn
year.
it, then why?
right?
Okay, never mind.
There's a few extra days.
But there
Oh
is
yeah,
some
we
extra
that's right,
days.
extra days.
Oh,
Maybe that's
okay,
what
extra
it
days.
is then
Yeah.
with the runs,
You
because
were
that gives
trying to
us.
blow Candy's mind.
Yeah.
Here. She's like,
I-
"We got more
Well,
seats."
well, technically because we added additional days, but I'm sorry,
thinking,
Candy.
It was
for-
still 4 cars like last year.
But if we ran 2 or 3 extra days, then we'd
Yeah,
have another
then that would be extra
600 seats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then just one last thing in ticketing for Polar this year. We found out from rail events that we can't print anything on the golden tickets. They have to all be, they're a souvenir. But now we have 6 different classes. So we can't just hand them a golden ticket and say, go get in line. So Sherry designed 6 tickets. They were just basic tickets. They'll be small business card size in different colors that will say the classes of each one. So it'll be VIP parlor car, VIP sitting room, VIP private room, deluxe coach, classic coach, all the different ones. So we'll hand them their golden tickets and then the colored tickets. And then there's gonna have to be somebody, like an usher or someone in the loading zone to make sure everybody gets in the right lanes, but I think that'll make it easier. So it shouldn't be. as
excellent suggestion
confusing.
and trying to ease of moving people and getting them in their
Yeah.
seats a little bit more efficiently. So we don't have, those people that try to cut lines on airlines, right? And
Yeah.
the group boarding number 1 and they're number 5.
Yes.
So yeah, so I appreciate the work on that end of things too, just to make it a little bit more easy as far as knowing where to go and the ushers can say, oh, no, you're over here, right?
Mhm.
Go up to the first car. So great work. Yeah. Well, hopefully then we'll be able to recap some overarching numbers, but I'm thinking maybe we could look at those at the retreat, instead of trying to jam a bunch of stuff onto November. Might be good to see how we did overall. And I'm curious too, I'm thinking I'd like to see how we break down the diesel and steam Saturday, Sunday, and look at our, what's our butts and seats, right?
Ridership.
Yeah, ridership percentages, right? Yeah, and figure out, because you're right, we do need to tweak some things. And, I'm definitely excited about the idea of having some Toast to the Canyons, but thematic style trains, right? I've been reading some things about these customized experiences or thematic experiences, and I think that's where we have an opportunity to capitalize next year.
When we do set the agenda for the retreat, that needs to have a decent amount of time. I know I have some ideas. I'm sure everyone here has some ideas.
We can
for that.
dedicate 4 to 6 hours just
Sweet.
on that if you.
2 days?
2 days.
Cool.
It's a
Let's-
2-day
Let's
retreat.
go on a retreat somewhere.
Yeah.
I think we should.
Train.
Yeah, we should be on a train.
Yeah, we should.
Grand Canyon Union one. Then.
Yeah, there
yeah,
you go.
well, yeah. Let's take our train all the way down there.
Let's do that.
Yeah, that
Ooh,
one
Yeah,
is
that would
really
be
there you
fun too.
go.
That's a
that one
good
is
one.
cool.
Yeah.
Just another thought for the retreat, talking about our regular ticket sales is, and thinking about the email blasts.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an opportunity for us to discuss and talk about when we get close to a weekend where we don't have, I say enough people, but, we don't have a full train. Maybe there's an opportunity for us to send out a blast that offers it at a discounted rate, just so we can get people in and we can at least make sure that we're breaking even. Because again, our goal is
Yeah.
not to make yay money always, but to at least cover our costs.
right.
So yay money's good, but if it doesn't always happen, at least if we
Yeah.
can cover our costs.
Yeah, and I think I said this at the last meeting. I don't know, I confuse all the meetings I'm in, but I'm pretty sure I said it at the last one. For us up in Virginia City, social media has been, and it is last minute. I don't know what is happening this year with people, but so many people, and I know economy, money, you all of a sudden, oh, it's the weekend, I have an extra X amount of money. I don't see that changing anytime soon. So yeah, I think definitely really marketing to those people right away is the way to go.
I would just add one thing, Stephanie. I think that's a great idea. I feel like we shifted some things in the last month too, where we didn't wait until Wednesday or Thursday of the weekend. We were out a week and a half in advance, and I
Yeah,
feel like
that's
that
true. That did
definitely
help. Mhm.
bumped us up too by almost being 10 days out as well. So that's something at the retreat I do want to discuss our strategy for our advertising efforts, because, and it's not taking anything away, from, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? I was going to say Michelle is doing, but, well, I want to, Melissa, oh gosh, sorry, Melissa. I had, Michelle, I was looking at you before, and sorry. So what, take away from what Melissa's doing, but I think we need to look at our allocations, right? And what we're doing and when we're doing things, and with the power of what the paid social has done for us, when we had 32 people and the next thing we have 98
Yeah.
people or 112 people, I was just blown away by that. And of course, Lydia, Leah already know all this stuff. Lydia's like, yeah, of course that's what's going to happen. We should be doing that all the time.
Dave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't even know why I'm there in the office, quite frankly, sometimes. Eye candy, I guess, probably, but I don't know. So anyway, long story short, I think this will be a part of the overall strategy, but I think we definitely need to look at the mix and where we're spending money. And I think we've all agreed we need to make some investment here in ourselves. And I'm not suggesting suddenly, oh my God, we're doing a $500,000 ad buy, but maybe just moving the monies from one bucket to another, moving forward. So, and look at what had the impact. That's why I think understanding where we were 2 weeks out from, a particular weekend, we had 30 or 70 and 30 or whatever, and then suddenly
Right,
we're
yeah.
180 and 110 people. It would be really cool to tie that back to what we were doing specifically, and then we can lay out a whole media plan, I think, around the particular weekends that we're going to run.
Yeah, I
So-
think the bottom line is that the media plan always needs to be fluid. And so as long as and fresh, like we can't just keep doing it the exact same way every year. And this year we've seen that by switching it up some, so yeah, as long as we can still have the flexibility, but have a better idea of what worked. I like the idea of what you're saying, to like show, this is when we posted this is how the ticket sales
Yeah, that's a
reacted.
good
Like
idea.
really seeing it, because then we can really make a better plan that way. So.
Yeah, so Sherry, if you would work on that with Regina to see when those posts were done, and then if we can work with Candy on the Fair Harbor side just to see where we were at pre and then post, that would be great to see what that lift was. Because I feel like we were doubling and then some,
It
the
was
ticket
making a
sales,
difference.
Every time Candy would send an email, I'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Like, is
no,
it-
it was, yeah, it was amazing. Like I said, I'm not a huge social media guy myself, but my goodness. And then, yes, the last minute nature of people with specific attractions. Leah and I deal with this all the time from a DMO perspective. It is frustrating, to say the least,
I also think Leah and I discussed this too, is tying making sure that the Virginia City events are in the, somewhere on the website where they're buying tickets so they can see, why would I ride the train this weekend? Well, Virginia
Camel
City's
races,
doing
yeah.
the outhouse races or the whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and we have all of our 2025 dates already in black. So I'll make sure to bring those
Yeah,
when
that's-
we meet.
What a braggart up there in Virginia City. My goodness gracious.
Hey, I worked hard to get people to commit.
Oh,
Bet
oh.
you did.
Come down and help me then with
There's,
that.
which events do we not go though? We don't run on Street Vibes weekend.
Right.
Is that the only one?
Well, we didn't the 4th either, and I think we should have.
I think the 4th is
Yeah,
key.
we got a
'cause
lot
that
of pushback
is
about that.
A big,
Yeah.
I do not want to deal with parking in Virginia City
Exactly.
weekend. Or weekday, whatever it is, day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of along the lines of what you guys were saying with knowing what events are going on when we have trains running, and maybe this should have been something I thought of to talk to the website folks about. But I mean, I wonder if embedding like the social media links to Virginia City or to Carson, you know,
Mhm.
yeah, so that
Yeah.
it's right there on the website when people are doing that.
So this is Dave. We did talk about that and reducing the dependency on VNTrailway.com for specific DMO pieces of the puzzle, right? And yeah, exactly, to try to shift them over, because what we, when we talked with KPS3, we didn't want to recreate calendars. Calendars are a pain in the bottom to maintain. They're the bane of sort of the DMO world in existence, right? Unless you have somebody literally that does that 8 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a
And
week.
God forbid you forget anyone
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
or get
right.
one single letter wrong.
Yeah, or a
We
wrong
talked
day.
about like the VCTC website, which is also in the process of getting a revamp. So this is not going to be the same forever. But at the bottom, it just automatically puts like the most recent social media posts. That's kind of what we talked about doing for the new. So yeah, I think we do need to. I hate to use these words. Circle back to KPS3 and make sure that that is included in their because I didn't see that necessarily, but that
You're
doesn't
right.
mean.
Would you mind? Will you, just because you're better at explaining that
Yes.
than I will be. So yeah, okay. No, so yeah, I think integration, without duplicating the information, because the worst thing we can do is bring new content forward, but then it's already old relative to our own DMO websites.
It gets
where
stale
we-
so
yeah,
fast.
have people doing that updating of the information, right? Now, the history, obviously, that's something's not going to change if we're talking about something 100-something years ago, right? And I think the VNT's website is a perfect place, to have that. In fact, I would rather shift people from our own DMO site, to the VNT site, but that'll kind of be the plan. We just have to balance that a little bit. So, but yes, we did chat about that. Are there any other questions for Candy? Yeah,
Thank
no.
you.
Thank you.
Good work. Good season.
I really do. I do want to say I do still. I know we're done, but I love getting those emails with the
Accounts.
updated ridership numbers because that
Good.
helps for my shuttle
Right.
shuttle driver,
Mm.
and just town expectations for
Yes.
the weekend. So it really, thank you.
Good.
I appreciate
Sure.
that.
Great. Yeah, just push the button, identify yourself, and rock and
Hey.
roll.
Darnell with Virginia Truckee Railroad Company, employee. This year was a great season. It was a good year. A lot of diesel trains that were a little bit boring. But other than that, it was good. Everything was fun. This past weekend, or this on Monday and Tuesday, 18 went out on a flatbed. Coaches went out yesterday. Everything, 18 is going to come back into Carson on a flatbed. Something to think about or consider is using the 18 at least for one night on Polar Express, since it has to get fired up to go back up the hill anyway.
Good idea, Darnell.
The 22nd, Stephanie said would be perfect. Was that of November or December? Oh,
Just for those of you,
Why?
for those of you who are not familiar with Darnell, he has worked for us for the railroad since he was 15, 14, 15.
I worked for Tom since 2015, and then for Polar Express, I was doing the parking lot. I was the parking lot attendant since 2012 to 2015.
And now he's the brakeman.
Wow.
And he also knows how to drive the diesel a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So he's really just
He's
grown up
awesome,
with the
yeah.
V&T Railroad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
Basically, you're doing the talking now for Tom. That's what I'm hearing. I like it. Yeah, we don't even need Tom anymore. Yeah. Tom,
How does something like that, what he suggested, how would that happen? Coordination with
Talk to Tom.
Tom?
Yeah.
Talk to Tom.
Just Tom's coordination?
When's it
How-
come back, Darnell?
Believe the coaches come back on the 13th November, and the 18th comes back
Oh, wow.
the 14th.
Oh,
Okay.
so it'll be down there when we're trying to do
Right.
our opening night.
Yeah. I believe. I could be
Okay.
I could be wrong on this. I'm not sure.
Okay. We won't hold it against you.
Well, thank you.
That's for
That would
sure.
be really
That
cool,
would be
though.
something. My God.
Yeah.
Even just the photo opportunities for that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Get
Yeah.
our marketing teams out there to take all the
Well, that would
pictures.
sell out your 8 p.m. on the 15th that has nobody
Yeah, I would think
currently
so.
riding. Holy smokes. I
That
mean,
would. And then all
yeah.
yeah.
We go premium, $1,000 a head. My goodness
And
gracious.
then we get riots from all the other VIP ticket buyers from all the other
Yep.
nights.
That's a Leah problem. That's a treasurer issue.
Make
you
everybody
know?
jealous.
Yeah. That's a great, yeah, if you guys want to, that's the media night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is tight timing then if
Yeah.
it's coming, so the truck comes back on 13, unloading 14, but then.
Everything's offloading on the 13th.
On the 13th,
Yeah.
okay. Will the diesel and the cars already,
Yeah, that'll all be down.
or the diesel will come down and then we'll
Exactly,
swap the
right.
cars? Okay. Oh, if you guys want to talk to Tom about that would be really cool. Wow, that'd be a unique situation.
You tell him.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Tom.
What is it? 1, 2, 3.
Your next step up the ladder.
Wow. Yeah. If you want to be the man, you got to tell the current man how it's going to go. Awesome. Great job to you and the team this
Thank you
season.
for all you
Really,
do.
really well done. So
Thank
thank
you,
you
guys.
very much. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. You want to move on, everybody? Okay. 11D, upcoming meeting. Wednesday, November 20th, right here, 9 a.m. And don't forget, it's not the normal Wednesday because the normal Wednesday is the day before Thanksgiving. So this is 1 week up early, yes. So if you don't have it on your calendars, mark that for Wednesday, November 20th. And with that, we'll move on to agenda item 12, commissioner comments or announcements and requests for information. Yes, Stephanie, please, go ahead.
I just have a quick update on the city's BDR request. I think I mentioned before that we were asking for this legislature to consider giving us some employees from the state for our commission. We had gotten some feedback that that was not going to make it through the legislature, and so we're looking at ways that we can revise and still keep our bill draft alive. And where I think we're going is that we're going to ask for a study to be done to take a look. You know, we've talked a lot about how we're just kind of this orphan commission and we don't really fit in. And are we a state entity? Are we not? And so right now we're kind of formulating questions for that to be looked at in the next legislative session. One piece of it, which of course is, you know, last resort for everybody, is if at some point in the future we aren't sustainable, what happens to our assets? Who really owns them? How, if we were to sell them, where do the proceeds go back to? And so because if we're able to get this into a study session, we want them to address all of those questions just because it's an opportunity to have that conversation and to know. But some of the things that we're asking them to look at is, you know, what are some potential paths forwards for us? Do they have recommendations? You know, maybe can we get some leverage and support in that way? And even just down to the point where, how do we apply for grants? Because where do we really fit in, you know, as far as our existence? So just wanted to update on that. I will keep the commission informed, but that's kind of where we're headed at this point.
Thank you for that update. That's great. Michelle or Leah, did you have anything you want to add? Okay. I've got nothing other than I'm looking forward to a Kick Butt PEX. So if you need something from us, please, you all will get the invite for the 14th. I would, if you can be there, bring your families, for the partner night. I know Stephanie has purchased thousands of dollars worth of tickets for another VIP room on a regular run, but oh, never mind. Not your current family. It's another family. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have brought that up into this item. So sorry. We can't take action anyway, Stephanie, so it's okay. But yeah, please, 14th, mark your calendar. And if you guys need help, let us know.
I would like
plan
to-
on being there.
I'd like to know, if possible, have all the comp requests by the 10th of November.
Roger that.
Okay.
So I will have the list today or tomorrow
Yeah.
to Sherry to push the email
Okay.
out. So yes.
And so then just all I need, really, I don't have to have a lot of details, but I need to know who will be coming in to pick up the tickets, how many there'll be, and where they're sitting, so that I can get that
Okay.
on the manifest.
Fair enough. Okay, great. All right, with that, we will move on to agenda item 13, public comment. Our second and last opportunity, if anybody wants to make a public comment at this time. I am not seeing or hearing anybody. So with that, if I could get a motion to adjourn, that would be super. We are adjourned. Thank you, Leah.